Hello, everybody. This is Practice-Oriented CHEK Training. I'm Oriola Brauli from Fraunhofer Italia. And on the context of the CHEK project, in this video, I will be presenting the CHEK digital building permit process and the CHEK 2B process map illustrating the CHEK digital building permit process.
So in summary, this was our path, let's say. So from mapping to as-is, we developed a lot of workshops, interviews, used BPMN tools, and managed to map the as-is. Then we designed the 2B based on the CHEK objectives, on the CHEK KPIs like transparency, efficiency, reducing errors, and most importantly, making it scalable. From that, we developed a gap analysis. So what is missing from the as-is to the 2B? What do we have to change from the as-is to the 2B? And we highlighted all the manual tasks that are ripe for automation. So what was being done manually in the as-is, and we needed to automate in the 2B. So as I said, these were the three, let's say, most important gaps that we found in the study of these maps. And also based on the CHEK objectives and KPIs with a very big input from the municipalities, we started to also work on conceptualizing and sketching the new process. So we knew that it had to include all of these features. So this new 2B process, of course, it needed to be transparent. It is also a KPI of the project. It had to be a clear process and understandable, of course, efficient, very important. It had to be applicable, so not just a theoretical process map, but actually coming with a plan of being applied, actually applied in the real workflow of the municipalities. And most importantly, it had to be partitionable, scalable, flexible, and adaptable. What do I mean with this? That this 2B process map that we developed must be able to, if we share every municipality, at least in Europe, I'm mostly referring to Europe, but so it is possible for every municipality to easily adapt this process map into their work or their process. Yeah, we had to find a way to make it also scalable. So this is how we started to conceptualize and to map the new process, the 2B. So we just started simply with a whiteboard and just sticking post-its with what can the new actions be? What do we need? We need this. We don't need this. And so it was a long process also for us. But step by step, we managed to clarify each step of it. So slowly from this brainstorming, we clarified the ideas. So we separated, we identified three main phases of the 2B. So from pre-submission, we identified pre-submission, the actual digital building permit process, and then the post-DPP, which actually is not under the scope of CHEK, but of course is influenced by the two previous phases, so from the pre-submission and from the digital building permit. So pre-submission actually is we considered it a very important part of the process because we think that pre-submission is the one that creates more delays or there's more lack of transparency and lack of efficiency, because it's in this exactly in this part where the biggest confusion is, right, where you don't know or the information is scattered. You need to ask the municipality what you have to do. Some information is public, some is not, and then the designer, of course, they have their own process and methodology to build the design, but many times not knowing clearly what to include in the project, or what is clearly required by the regulation and municipality. So it creates a lot of back and forth in between these stakeholders, so the architect or the designer or the engineer with the municipality. So what we added in the new process, so in this pre-submission phase that we consider very important, the first step is data collection. So the idea is to have a centralized way for the interested parties, for the investor or the designer, to extract all the available information, regulation and requirements from the public bodies regarding the design, and what do they need to do before starting to design or to build. The second important step was the GIS and BIM conversion, or this step of interoperability. So the idea is to be able to easily convert and download information from GIS to BIM and then from BIM to GIS. So very simply, if you're a designer, the idea is you go to the website or the access point of the municipality, and you download the plot that you are interested to build in, and this plot is uploaded in your modeling or in your authoring environment, and you can from then on start doing your design. But this downloaded plot is already predefined, has already predefined in it all the constraints based on the regulation that you have to build. These tools you are going to see in the afternoon presented by the software houses. So this is going to be more concrete in the afternoon what I'm talking about, because now I'm talking about the process. Then it comes the design phase, which is the independent phase, the designer that is developed in the design studio or where designer. And then what we consider very, very important in this part of the process is the pre-checking and the official validation of the information model. What do I mean by that? By pre-checking, I mean that giving the designer the possibility to run the checks before sending the project to the municipality, so before doing the official submission. So the idea is you have your design, you have the possibility to know if it's going to pass or not before even submitting to the municipality, or before even doing the official submission. So this, we consider that is a very important step that could lower the times to reduce the times, the checking times, and also the margin of errors, and because the design would be more compliant to the regulation, and in this phase the designer can run as many checks as they want until the model is compliant to the regulation. So in the moment of the official submission, there's a higher certainty that the model is going to be compliant and may be approved since the first step, and there's no need anymore for rejecting or resubmitting. So after that, we pass to the phase of the digital building permit. The designer does the submission, and then one important step that not only in this process, but only this is also one very important part of the CHEK project, is the automated checking. So municipalities will have in their hands these tools and rule sets for doing the automated checking of the models. As you, one part of it was also yesterday, you saw the methodology for translating and interpreting the regulations. This was, the scope of that was to arrive to the automated checking. And in the afternoon, you're going to see the tools that we developed in CHEK for performing this automated checking of the models. And then, of course, we can automate as much as possible, but the human is always needed in the loop. So one of the last steps would be the human checking and the review of all these of submitted projects, and then the final decision of which is approval or denial of the building permit. And then the post DBP is the construction as built and city model updates. But in this case, this was out of the scope of CHEK, but it was just to illustrate the entire process of the building permit. So this is very simplified version of all the steps of our to-be process map. So you see here the pre-submission that contains the data collection and design and offline validation. Then the submission part, which includes the automated rule checking, human review checking, and the approval. And then approval and post-construction phase. So what was important in this to-be process, we try to create a process that would operate entirely on a digitalized framework, would include automated compliance checks and enhanced collaboration, which means accelerated or also support collaboration in between parties and stakeholders. So this is the final CHEK process map. Here, probably nothing is understandable. But maybe if you open the map in your screen, you can take a closer look. It is a very large document. I don't know how many of you are familiar with process map, building process map, using BPMN? No. This one, we use Visio and BPMN language, process map language. And we also created a very simplified version of this map as well. So here you can see illustrated all the actions of this process, from pre-submission to digital building permit and post-digital building permit. Here we have the actors that participate in this process. So the applicant, municipalities, third-party evaluators, directly affected parties, then the general public. And then the last part illustrates how the communication is developed in this process, how the information is exchanged, if it's time efficient or not, and how transparent is each of these actions, who has access and visibility to this action. Yeah, to understand better, as I said, the process map is divided in these phases, from pre-submission to submission to checking, approval, and then post-DPP. For pre-submission, this phase includes data collection, information exchange, and interoperability from GIS to BIM and vice versa. Then the design phase, and then offline validation and pre-checking. And the submission phase includes only the official validation and the actual submission of the project. I have to clarify that in this process, in the CHEK DPP, when I say submission, it always implies uploading the BIM model, the ISE in this case, so the digital model, official application submission side of the municipality. So always in this case, we are talking about the digital model, not about any more 2D documentation or PDFs or paper documents. So everything is included in the model. Then the checking part, this part is executed by the municipality. Other permit processes, in this case, other permit processes are other types of permits that are maybe more simplified than the actual building permit, like when someone wants to do an extension or open a window, or they need to have a more simple type of permit. Then the automated rule checking, this is the most important part that happens in the municipality. So checking the models in an automated way with tools that provide an automatic result from checking the model. And the visual review, of course, there is a municipality officer that will run the final review and decide if the checks are correct or not, and if the permit needs to be approved or not. And then the post DPP, of course, if the permit is approved, then we continue with construction, as the submission and use permit, and the final update in the CTGML, which would be the ideal workflow from beginning to end. So we just saw the phases of the DPP, but also what is important is who is participating, who are the actors of this process, who is interacting with who. It is also illustrated in this map. So first of all, we have the applicant. When I say applicant, I mean the designer, the engineers, or the investor, whoever is taking the responsibility to apply for this building permit. Then the municipality, which is very important part of this process. And most of this process is happening in the environment of the municipality, physical or not. Then external evaluator. What I mean by external evaluators are other third parties that need to approve, for example, the fire department that needs to approve the fire protection, or the environmental offices that needs to, it depends from process to process or municipality how these expertise are done or shared. So this is what I mean by external evaluators. That they of course are part of the process and influence the building permit process. So that's why they are represented also in this part. Then the directly affected parties, in this case, would be, for example, the neighbors. They are directly affected by this building that is going to be built. So they also have a say in the project, in the process sometimes. Then the general public, there are cases where the general public also can have a say in the process of the building permit and do an intervention or give feedback. Then one important part of the process is the information. So how the information is exchanged in this process, what is in what format, and is delivered the project. In this case, you see probably it's not visible, but you will see everywhere the IFC icon, which means everything is submitted in. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So it's submitted in IFC. And then the accessibility, we considered it also a very important part of this process. And we took care of also defining to make it a more transparent process by defining who has visibility on what, who has access on what, and trying to give in this digital process more visibility also to the applicant. So one knows what is going on after the submission, how much time do they have to wait, at what pace is the rule checking, and what is going well or not well with the post-submission phase. So after we built this process map that I just explained, we also needed to test it to see if it really works, no, with the municipalities and in the real environment. So yeah, first we try to understand. Secondly, we defined and sketched and brainstormed and conceptualized this process. Then we prototype. So what we did is we built a digital prototype of this workflow, and then we tested with the municipalities. So we developed several workshops with the 4 municipalities that are part of CHEK, and we actually using this mock-up did some trials of to test this workflow of this new CHEK DBP process. So in this way, we could also calibrate and improve what was going well and what was not.
So this was all from my side. I hope you enjoyed this session, and thank you very much for your time and attention.